This lesson is about an amazing funk-based technique, but also about how to improvise using some patterns. So I'm going to integrate both those things. So we have the chucking technique, which was invented by Bernard Edwards from Chic, and it's this kind of thing. I just listened to a Louis Theroux podcast with Nile Rodgers, and he talks a little bit about the genesis of that technique and how Nile's playing was, well, taught to him by Bernard, that chucking thing. And it's where you sort of pretend you have a plectrum, but you don't. So you put your thumb and your first finger together, a little bit like this. And before we get into the exercises, I'll just show you on a C. So Everybody Dance is probably the most famous example of this technique. And it's in C minor, so that's what this lesson is in. Play a C on the 3rd fret of the A string. And we'll just have a look at the technique first. So you have a downstroke and an upstroke, as you do if you were playing with a pick in your hand. So the downstroke, you're striking the string right on that fingernail, right in the middle of it. And as you would with a plectrum or a pick, you're resting on the next string. Now you can alter the length of the notes with your fretting hand. I've just got it pressed down at all times there. If you want to choke the note and make it shorter, you can just put your hand or your fingers down to mute it. You can also do that with your right hand as well. Now you have the upstroke as well, so let's try that. So we're going down and then up. And the up is the fleshy part of the fingertip. Everyone will be slightly different with this. There's not really that much Bernard Edwards footage where you can really see what he's doing there. But it's something like that. So you're doing nail on the way down, fleshy part on the way back up. And when you do alternate plucking like this, or chucking, it's about keeping it consistent. Part of that is anchoring. I'm anchored on the top of the bass here. Sometimes my little finger just rests a bit on the scratch plate here. But sometimes you want to be a bit more free, to just bounce around a bit. So there, I'm not really anchoring anywhere but this part of the bass. So all that to say, just find your own way of doing this. Let's move on to the first exercise, which goes like this. That practice of playing the groove at half the speed is quite a good one to get you in time and get the mechanics going. So we have a hammer on between B flat and C, frets 3 to 5 of the G string. Now I'm using the bottom of my hand here just to mute the E, A and D strings. Also the tip of the first finger touching up against the D will do the same thing. So it's down, down, up. That symbol right there is a downstroke. This is for pick, but you can use it for this as well. And that symbol is an up stroke. So it's down, down, up. And then you just release pressure, have your fingers across all the strings, and you get a dead sound, a ghost note. Now, if you just focus on what my hand is doing here, it's just going down, 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 down. And the up is caught sometimes. It doesn't always have to be caught. It's more of a attitude and a groove and a machine like keeping that down up thing going. Even if you're just doing this. keeping that going. That the same pattern is throughout. So frets 3 to 5 on the G string, and then frets 3 to 5 on the D string, same rhythm, same technique. Then quickly shift to the first and the third frets, the E flat to the F. So it's hammer on, and release, really, hammer on, release. And then the same thing on the A string, B flat to C, frets 1 to 3. The next one goes like this. Just 2 notes. You can really groove on just 2 notes, a C and a B flat. That's the first bit. Down, down, up. And even at this speed, 1, 2, 3, 4. That nail going through the strings is all on the beats. Then you've got the upstroke between that. And try and keep everything muted. So it's that 3 times. The last time. Now once you've got this technique down, you're really bouncing off that string. You could just do that on 1 note. I'm either holding the strings like this or pressing down, even unconventionally like this, to get the note. This is not an easy technique. I would describe it as an advanced technique. But if you want to get this down, start slowly, stick with it, and you'll get it. Here's the last exercise. Bit of a jump there from the C to the B flat. And then the higher C. A bit chili peppers there. All down strokes. You can play the ghost note on the way to the A on the 2nd fret. I'll just do from the ghost note. You could just practice that. You've got E flat F, and then that's the last bar. You can add your own rhythm. You can download those exercises for free by following the link below. Now I'm going to take you through the patterns, and there's no tab for this, and that's the point. This is improvising. So going back to the first one. Now that outlines perfectly some notes from C minor pentatonic. Remember that was the key we're in, C minor? Well, the notes we're using is not quite C natural minor, if you know that scale. I'll explain that further, but we'll start with a fairly simple pattern. Just those notes, B flat C, and then F G, but those notes down the octave as well. You get this entire pattern. That's where this is coming from. So what you can do is, this is chucking or using a plectrum in a rock style, like, or fingers. You can use this pattern on any minor key that you're in. But since we're doing chucking, we will use that. I'm just doing hammer-ons. That lends itself very well when you've got notes that are all on the same fret. So what am I doing there? Same thing, but ghost notes. Hammer on, and then 2 ghost notes. And then 2 other notes in the pattern. You can use any of them. All of them sound good. You can even just be really simple. Let's just do that. Down, down. Let's have the drum beat. I'll do something simple. I'm practicing as I'm going there. I was rushing a bit, so I'm really focusing on relaxing, breathing properly, and just chilling out a bit so that I don't rush. I have a tendency to do that, and so I want to practice not to do that. So mechanics, I have to get those down so I know exactly what I'm doing. Then you can relax into the groove a bit more. So the next pattern is more or less the same, but just fewer notes. Now, of course, you could use all of the notes I just showed you, but the next pattern is really just a subset of that. Just that, C, B, flat, G, F, but just there. So improvise using only those 4 notes. Sometimes it's a great thing to do. Restrict yourself. The C minor pentatonic scale occurs across the entire neck. If you want to know how to play scales in all keys all over the neck, my music theory course will really help you with that. And that's great, that's what you want to know. All the scales everywhere. But sometimes it's good just to restrict yourself to something like this. With the beat. That's proper bass playing, just playing very little, but just doing your best with those notes. Don't forget you can move this around to all different keys. These shapes will work. Now the last one outlines, just that, outlines this. A Dorian mode, that's a C Dorian mode. And what we can do is just play around with that 1 octave shape. And the bass line here outlines that completely. And of course, all of this fits with the other 2 patterns. There are loads of other patterns. I'm just keeping it relatively simple for this lesson and just doing those 3. That's a root flat 7 octave, and I would recommend that you understand that, and those are intervals, the distance between 2 musical pitches. Octave. Octave with the flat 7. That note there, that's the major 6th. That's what gives it its Dorian quality, and it sounds great in funk music. That's the flat 3rd. Obviously, when I'm doing this, I'm just jamming and improvising. I don't have a drum beat. If you really want to lock in your timing, use a metronome or use a drum beat. I think I'm at 110 beats per minute here. That's this. It's a little fast, actually. I probably would slow down a bit. I'm doing my best to stick to the time of that. So I would probably move that to more like 100 BPM or 105 and work without it at first. It's all about getting the mechanics down. If you've never done this before, it's a bit odd. It's all about keeping that groove, relaxing your wrist. You're going down, up, down, up. Absolutely getting your muting together. If I was not doing any muting there, no, just on the first downstroke, you'll catch other strings. I'm muting now. This hand is touching other strings. This is a little busy to be muting, so it's really this hand that needs to take up a lot of that work. Now what I want you to do is go and watch this video, which is the lesson from Everybody Dance, and this lesson will equip you with the technique. And hopefully you can use this in your own playing. I love playing like this because as much as I do like a plectrum or a pick, I also like just using my fingers without having to grab anything. It's a really useful technique. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.